you want to be a leader during this disruptive technological pandemic landscape and beyond. You know that an intentional mindset shift backed with action and responsible management can renew our global relationship to wealth, health, spirituality, and each other. These are the keys to achieving a balanced lifestyle. In this podcast, your host, Lady Doris Choto, will help you rise to your potential. With a mindset shift, you will put your skills and talents to the highest use and shine with a spirit of excellence. What a man thinketh, so is he. You were born to achieve whatever you want, so spread your wings and soar like an eagle. We are building a leadership community, nationally and internationally, a hub for the leaders of today and tomorrow. We are here to take action because it's time for a mindset shift that will lead to a paradigm of wealth, health, spirituality, and relationships. Please welcome Lady Doris Choto.
So everyone, hello. It's such a privilege to have Traycee Mayer as a guest on Mindset of Excellence. So she is an epitome of excellence herself. So Traycee, her biography is wow. Just to list some of the things she's done, she's an author, she's an executive leadership coach, she's a human emotion expert, she is insightful, she's inspirational, she is a leadership coach, and she's a leadership consultant. What can she not do? And she is multicultural as well as a thought leader. So it is such an honor to have you on this podcast, because the people who come and discuss mindsets of excellence and inspiration, you are one of those. And that's why we asked you to come on this platform to share your amazing ideas. So I just want to ask you to introduce yourself in the way you would like to be known, so the audience know what they can get from you.
Right. Well, thank you, Lady Doris. I'm absolutely honored to be talking with you today. And the bio, it says a lot, but I think more than anything, I am in a place in my life and my career where human connection is absolutely crucial to me, and making sure that I spread the message of human kindness, of connection. I recently wrote a book that was released only a few weeks ago called The Leadership Contradiction, Choosing a Path of Love and Kindness. Yes. And it's not only based on my career of over 40 years in leadership, but it's really calling out leaders and saying, you know what, there's a better way to do this, to help develop other human beings, but to have those connections and to lift others up and to be successful. On the bottom line, I think that, what I want to share is the news and the reality that you can be more successful if you treat people well and you take good care of them and consider who they are uniquely to your organization, to your circle of friends, to your family. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wonderful. And you know what? You had right. Traycee has over 40 years of leadership success in many areas. And this is hospitality, in business development, facility operations. She has uniquely and authentically been able to relate to and develop all levels of employees, teams, leaders, and we have an expert here. So really, to tap into that, just wanting for the audience to know that if they were to ring you and wanting a consultation, what would you offer? What would one be receiving from you?
Well, they would receive a very unique perspective, holding space. I think a lot of us, over our years of just being humans, right? We people are always interested in talking more about themselves and what they can do, or tell you what to do as a mentor, right? Or somebody analyzing your work. I've been trained at UC Berkeley in their Executive Coaching Institute after my 40 years of experience. And it's a beautiful, unique way that we are taught to find heart and meaning to the people that we're coaching, to hold space. What I have found in my coaching program is that always the people I'm coaching say to me, Traycee, I didn't even realize I was saying that. Or, wow, I didn't even realize that that's what I was reflecting. So I have so much respect for other human beings that come into my space where I can listen to what they're saying and being able to find the important parts to give that back to them so that they can grow. But more than anything, I see the value in others. And I think that's unique in that it's really heartfelt. It is a way of lifting others up so that they can find their answers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really like that. When you said you hold a person to really know that they are being listened to, that, I just elaborate, because I think at the moment, people are struggling to feel respected, to feel that they are listened to. So that element of giving people the space to do that, I think we need to really pause on that, and for people to know how you value that.
Thank you for asking that question. That's really wonderful, because the value is in the human being, just because we all exist, and just like me meeting you today, it's a gift. It's a gift to me that I get to meet you. And the way that I've learned, and part of it that is inherent in who I am, and I didn't realize it until 3 years ago. I took this hike that was very pivotal to me, but and that's what I write about in the book. But I value others. Like, every person that we meet in this world is unique. And so I've been quoted, and I've posted this a lot about that. I unapologetically believe that people should not be treated fairly. They need to be treated as the unique individuals that they are, so that they feel seen, heard, and valued. No two humans on this planet are alike. And when we pause long enough to hear their story, every single story is different and unique. And when we give people attention to say, yes, we hear you, we see you, and that's what I can do. I've helped so many people in my coaching by being able to just listen to them and to hold space and hold their information quietly. And then when I know that they're done talking, which sometimes is a long time, I've been trained to extract those really important pieces and give that back to them in a little nice bundle, so that they can then tackle the problems they have at work, or address the issues they may have in their work-life balance, or challenges with leadership and being able to actually lead other people. I can kind of show them and reflect back to them, so they understand that they have the answers, I guess, is really where I'm getting with this, is that, as human beings, we have the intelligence and the ability to see our own answers and to find them, but often we can't do it on our own. So that's where coaching comes in. And if you have the right coach that has, that listens with heart, and that has the business experience and the acumen of success in leading and developing other leaders and having, business success, put that all together as a package. I'm grateful really for every person who comes in front of me, because I know that I can help them and lift them up one person at a time. And I get the benefit of just meeting other amazing humans.
Absolutely. I love that. And when you say that, you are unapologetic, as you believe that people don't need to be treated fairly. You hear that, audience? People don't need to be treated fairly, but they need to be treated as the unique unique individuals that they are. So you need to be treated as the unique individual that you are. And Traycee does that unapologetically. And that is powerful. You do that. And I really just want to really touch on the 4+ decades that you have been in leadership and how that has channeled you to be where you are today. Could you like to elaborate on that, please?
Certainly. Thank you for that question, Lady Doris. So I did well in school and was basically finished with school at an early age. So I had some time on my hands, and walking home from school in my senior year, I only had 1 or 2 classes. And I came upon this little boutique on the way home from school, and went in there and saw these lovely things, great clothing and shoes and bags from all over the world. And the one most wonderful young woman in there who was the owner, and got to know her, and she needed somebody to work in the afternoons to assist in purchasing and managing the store and so on and so forth. And it's shocking to me today, really, to think back and realize that I was only 15 years old.
Wow.
And I spoke in a way, apparently, that just was so, above my years, I suppose, and started working with her and working in the store and doing fashion shows, coordinating that. And, it was just a lovely experience. And so someone trusted me and believed in me at a very young age. And so I think that was a catapult for me that gave me the start and the insight that, connecting with other human beings and just doing things that you love and you're passionate about can help, be a launch board for success for you. And I do talk about that a little bit in my book too, because when I reference back, it's like, wow, yeah, I did start my leadership career at such an early age, and I'm so happy and grateful for those times. And that really, it hasn't been noticed until a few years ago. Like I said, during, this pandemic that was going on, and I was spending a lot more time alone hiking. And that's when I, had this one day where just everything kind of struck me as like, wow, even though I have this whole history and career, and, and I feel like, to be able to admit that I feel like I've made some mistakes in my life, I've made some wrong decisions, but it's already done, at in my mid 50s. And that particular day, it was this kind of aha moment where I realized that all of those things led me to where I am today, but I have this whole future ahead of me, and I still have choices to make. And so I reflected a lot on, that none of those choices were wrong. Even though they felt wrong at that time, or may look back and say, oh gosh, I wish I would have done that differently. At the end of the day, all of those choices that we make, like taking a hike on different paths you have in front of you, and as you're taking a hike in the mountains or what have you, it all turns out to be exactly what you were supposed to do. And if you, sometimes there are lessons. In fact, usually there are lessons. Some are harder to learn than others, but all of those lessons add to who we are as a human being, and they add to who we are when we show up in the workplace, who we are when we, build a business or we build a friendship. I just am seeing that there really aren't any differences in any of those things anymore. And you can meet people like you and I are meeting today, and within a short period of time, we can become fast friends because we have a mutual respect for one another. And, I go back to the thing, like how grateful I am that I've gotten to meet you today, because this is a special day. Just because.
Absolutely. I love it.
Our life paths crossed today, I
just love this because, I love the way you started off by saying you mentioned the word mistake. And then you moved on to say, actually, out of those experiences, they were lessons. So what we are hearing here is that even if you think or your mind tells you that this is a mistake, actually, it's not, because it's an opportunity to learn. And that's what Coach Traycee is saying. This is what you get in your journey to being coached, to being able to be in a space of reflection and being allowed that space of becoming aware that those blaming thoughts are actually not healthy. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and it is healthy, and it doesn't mean that I've always known this. It feels like, it took me many years to learn that, and so yes, when I coach other people, I try to first get rid of those roadblocks, because myself, I've experienced that, where I was so reflective on the things that I thought were mistakes and the wrong decisions I made and the wrong paths I went down, and it takes a lot of time away from your life. It's a very big waste of time to sit and have regrets and to think about things that we think are wrong. But when we can look at, okay, what was the lesson there for me to learn? And, what was the purpose of that? And then we work on through letting go of regret, which, sometimes we need to start there when I start coaching with someone. Let's let go of all of that other stuff. And, I tell some of the people that I coach, it's just kind of like, review, reflect, those things in your life. And then it's like sending an email. You just push enter and off it goes, and it really is that simple. If we can go, okay, well, let's look at all the lessons, if you were to make a list of what you thought maybe you did wrong or mistakes, and then let's look at you can always find the lesson if you have someone to guide you. And then just say, let's move on, because the learning is what this is about. And then we can focus on what's ahead of us today. We could focus on the other people in our lives. We could focus on our work. We could focus on, what is next for us to be creative. Like I never thought I'd write a book until a year ago. And I wrote it in 9 months, because when I finally realized that I wanted to, 5 people in the same week said, you need to write a book, and the right people lined up, and it was the universe saying it's time to talk about what you want to talk about, and so it just flowed out. But it really was just based on my own reflection that our life isn't a mistake. Nobody's life is a mistake. Some of us have harder times than others, but I believe every human is valuable, and that that process of coaching and being able to look at everything as a lesson, and how can we share those lessons with other people, and then let's move on.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow's a new day. Today's a new day. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a mindset of excellence, of another level, really, because when you were talking about your hiking, and really just what led you to that space where you thought, okay, I'm going hiking? What had happened?
I know, it's so interesting. Because everybody was kind of so alone, a couple of years ago, and I was furloughed from my work, so didn't have any work to do. And I knew I needed to stay healthy and mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So I realized, which I had never done because it was always about work, being a workaholic. I realized I have these beautiful canyons near my home, which are just, a few minutes from my house. Oh, wow. And I started hiking and mountain biking and just spending time, and a lot of times by myself. But it just became the spiritual place for me to go to. And I felt always really good in there. The sunshine was out, and, I would see animals, little rabbits and birds and whatever. And I just became really aligned with my inner self. And I think that on this particular day, which was coming up about 3 years ago, I just was hiking this one day, and I felt as though something invisible, like, kind of stopped me. It was my inner spirit saying, stop for a moment and let's, and I looked backwards and saw where I was on the path, and I looked forward, and it was just this pivotal moment for me that I didn't realize would change my life, but it really did, in the sense that I just, in my mid-50s, finally I had a realization that, oh, this is what life is about.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is I took up my phone and started recording my thoughts about the different paths we have, the choices we make. Some are scary, some are rocky, and we stumble and that sort of thing. So I recorded these notes thinking it was just being kind of cool to record the notes for the day. And then about a year and a half ago, working with a coach for myself in my career, because I have coaches as well. I highly recommend having coaches.
Yes.
This beautiful woman, her name is Renessa Boley-Lane. She's an executive coach and a beautiful woman. And she said, Traycee, you need to write a book about this journey that you're having. And very quickly I met the right people that lined up, and I talked about it. And it was a continuous reflection, as it is today, and through the writing of the book, to look at just, that's kind of how our life is, right? It's like a hiking trip. It's like these journeys that we take where we have choices almost at every intersection. And we might have messages from other people we meet as we cross that path, or, we may fall down a path thinking, okay, we made a mistake, but again, we learn. So we each have this unique path. And going back to the unapologetically, I say that because when I want to say that I don't believe in treating people fairly, there's, people, that I speak with, particularly senior leaders, they gasp. It's like, how that's so against the grain. That's not how things are supposed to be. We're all about treating fairly. And I'm like, I think that's a disservice to the other people that are in our lives in whatever way they are. Because if we treat everybody fairly, we're not seeing them as who they are, as unique humans. I think that is less than what we need to do to honor one another.
Absolutely.
So it's a little bit of a play on words, but I like to explain it because I think it's important. I think it should be fair when it comes to, certain things in the workplace, like diversity and human resources and those sorts of things. Absolutely. Yeah. But when it comes to the actual person, then the uniqueness is crucial, that we recognize that and tap into everybody's unique persons, because I get to learn from you today, because I care about who you are as a person, a human being. So yeah.
And that's the crucial thing. And everyone wants to be loved, to be acknowledged, to be respected, to be included. I love that. And when you talk about your book, this new book that you're just releasing, please tell the audience the name of the book again.
Okay. Thank you. It's called The Leadership Contradiction, Choosing a Path of Love and Kindness.
Wonderful. And where would they get this book?
They could get it through the leadershipcontradiction.com. There's a link there to buy it directly and that goes to Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It's available in a soft cover or an ebook. The second book is already being written now. So I just hope that it helps guide people in leadership roles or in human kindness, in finding ways to love other human beings. Again, in and out of the workplace, I try to show that the lines, there should be no line between how we treat people at work and how we treat them at the grocery store or our neighbors. That it's all about kindness. It's all about love. And people need to get used to that word, that love is human love. And whoever made it sound like a dirty word is, that's wrong, because that's not what it is. That everybody does need human love, and Yeah, I hope
I
this sheds
love
a little
that.
bit of light on how to just be ourselves and love other human beings. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when love is at the center of everything that we do, respecting, loving the neighbor, the work, the colleague, the other leaders, and those teams one works with, your family and friends, it then just changes everything. Because from what I'm hearing you say is that everybody needs that love, and how we can change the world, especially during COVID, the isolation that people felt that you kind of touched on. How did that, I guess, wanting to just check in with you, how that impacted on you, and how you then said to yourself, you need to make these changes and become you as you came out of that season of a lot of people being isolated and learning from there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful reflection. When I was dealing with this isolation of sorts, I guess I spent more time on Zoom with other friends and colleagues, and I was just as resistant as everyone else.
Yes.
How could you, can't we just make a phone call or, but we needed to see other people. We needed to see their faces. We needed to see them smile. There was a connection that we developed through Zoom, through that COVID period, regardless of where we were in the world or how we believed about this whole thing going on. We got to make these connections that, interestingly enough, were so sacred and so like momentous that I know that people understand and can relate. I met a gal a couple of years ago who was a Berkeley coach as well, and we met on some alumni thing, and we ended up working together. I ended up hiring her as a coach for myself, dealing with like my kind of making a transition from my corporate job and leaving the corporate world earlier this year to be in this place, finish my book and do coaching full time and training. And I just met her 2 weeks ago, this person.
Wow.
And it was so amazing. It was like looking at each other and going, well, we really know each other. And we both had to go like, have we met? No, we haven't, but we have. Yes. And we've spent hours, hundreds of hours over the last few years just talking to each other and being on Zoom. So to answer that question in a very long roundabout way, what I realized on during that time of my life and during this isolation that a lot of people felt is that we can connect on Zoom. And then we also need more than ever to see each other in person. And so it's become this fun thing for me that I don't just do that with people that I coach or my friends or family. I mean, I consider friends and colleagues are part of my family. It's really about that relationship you have with another human being. But I love to engage with people wherever I meet them, at the coffee shop, wherever it might be. I write a little bit about that in my book as well. Just that human connection. And I find that so joyful. Often complete strangers can just give you joy, just because when you ask them something about themselves, or you stop and make eye contact and let them know that you're giving them your attention, even if it's for 5 minutes. What I realized is from that isolation during COVID, that there's an even greater need of humans to be seen by another person. And it doesn't have to be their family. It doesn't have to be somebody they know. It could be a complete stranger. We could have a huge impact on the world today by just being kind to other people. And boy, can we make an even bigger impact on our workplace if you're spending 40 plus hours with these people. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
No excuse. Absolutely. And so this beyond BU leadership, this whole BU as a leader is really coming out of the space of actually learning to reach out. So what if somebody is out there saying, oh, I don't know how can I talk to a stranger? What would you say to them?
I would say that try it.
Yes, just try it.
Just try it. Just try it. In fact, I challenge people to try that. Just to be at the coffee shop, be at the supermarket, checking out, instead of being silent and worrying about your payment. Ask the person how they're doing today, and really stop and listen. It's just so simple but profound. And it also takes willingness of everybody to slow down a little bit. Sure. We don't need to go faster. We just need to make every interaction count. And I believe that we can make a huge impact. And if somebody really wants to know, I'm happy to help them get through that for sure. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So when you talk about when somebody wants to get that help, somebody out there is thinking, you know what, I want that. I would like to reach out to Traycee. How do they do that?
Yeah, well, anybody could email me directly, and it's Traycee at buleadership.com, and Traycee is, of course, Traycee. And then BU Leadership is BEYOU leadership.com. Could send me an email. Can go to buleadership.com, my website, and book a free consultation for 30 minutes, and we can talk about those sorts of things. And I know that I've been changed through this process of being able to coach other human beings, and I look forward to the next person I meet that I can coach and see that success, and see that light bulb go on. And I've been able to impact people from all different industries, and men and women, and young and old. And it's again, it goes back to, are we willing to take a look at ourselves and see how we can do better, how we can be better, and look at the value in ourselves, so that we can, we can have a better life, really, at the end of the day. That's what it really boils down to.
Absolutely. I love the word coach. Olympians, I love to always say to people, Olympians have got coaches. The best footballers, they have coaches. Anyone who is in, in any field that they really excel, if you talk to them, they have had access to a coach. So what Traycee is saying here is that everyone needs a coach. So you have got the website, which is buleadership.com. And actually the message on that website, buleadership.com, is a space where you can have access to all that information that Traycee offers around coaching. And because when I looked at it, I love the purple 4 domains of looking at what. Would you like to talk about that? Please.
Yes, thank you. So BU Leadership is something I established a couple of years ago, because I felt like at the end of the day, it's really just about us being authentic. And not only do I want to be myself as a leader, but I want you to be yourself. And that ties into, leading authentically, leading from our heart. And, it ties into that whole idea that we get to see, the value in each person. And, so, when I do a coaching session, it's always open, I'm open to outcomes, there's no planned kind of, steps that we need to take. It's really, I'm able to, with the background that I have and the experiences, to kind of tailor that to the person and where they're going, so that they can learn that being themselves is more than enough. Being themselves is actually their superpower.
That's powerful, that, because some people will say, "Oh, I'm not confident," or are doubting themselves, or think, they feel like they are an imposter. That imposter syndrome. When you approach those elements, and you're saying to the audience, you are able to work with them and navigate those areas of uncertainty, and just reassuring them that they can approach you, they can come to you. Please talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. So one thing that my private client coaching is a private space, and it's a safe place, so that anybody could talk about anything. The imposter syndrome is something that's just absolutely devastated leadership and employees alike over the last few years. We've become uncertain. But one thing I will say is that I learned that has been around for many years, especially because I've been a leader. And even in my early 20s, when I was leading large teams, managing hotels, things like a fire would start somewhere, and I would be I want to look back behind myself and go, okay, wait, who's in charge and who's making decisions? It's like, oh my goodness, it's me.
It's me.
And then we start questioning. Then that's where that imposter syndrome comes in. It's like, I'm now responsible for 400 people's lives and making sure that nobody dies in this fire. And so that's kind of where that comes from. So imposter syndrome is real in leadership and in other parts of our lives. I did meet a couple of years ago Marshall Goldsmith, who is considered the top executive coach in the world.
Yes.
And the one thing I found out from him first is that he has a coach. And he said, I talk to my coach every day.
Wow.
And then I started asking other senior leaders and people that had been my boss, presidents of companies and CEOs in the past, and they've had coaches for years. They just don't talk about it. Because there is that need, and it shouldn't be, reserved for senior executives only. So executive coaching just means that I've been trained and I can coach, all levels of people, leadership, entrepreneurs, business owners, C-suite, all of that. But it's really about just seeing the person that's in front of you, and everyone should have access to that and be able to share their thoughts and learn how to grow in their role. And again, it will affect your life throughout, whether it's work or friendship circles or whatever it is that you do, maybe nonprofit work. We can all get help to say, hey, you got this. And being yourself is your superpower. Nobody else has that.
And I like that superpower and the way you link that to profitability, and how companies and individuals who run their own businesses can be more profitable. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, absolutely. There is so much connection to allowing the team, maybe you have 20 employees, maybe you have 100, maybe you have 1,000. But if you can find the inherent talents unique to each individual, let them know that they are seen, that they are heard, and they are valued.
Wow.
And you allow them to thrive in the role that they've been given, they will exponentially take that role to the next level. And you will see success that you've only imagined. And that is counterintuitive to what I've heard a lot of leaders say. Well, you know what, they can't just, do what they want to do. I got to be on top of them. I got to, be hard on them. I need to light a fire under them. We got to get numbers. Well, that doesn't even sound good, does it? Because there's no human connection in there whatsoever. And we are human beings. And we all have that need to be appreciated and seen and valued for who we are. And so there's a direct connection to that. There's a lot of research done. Mary Barra, was the GM the CEO of General Motors. She took that company that was failing, and through love and kindness and being uniquely kind and caring to her employees, rebuilt that company, and within a year was on top of the charts with regards to financial gain and employee retention, and all of that is well documented. And she's just one of many. And I could say that in my entire career, I have benefited. I've always exceeded bottom line profitability.
Wow.
And at the same time developed other great leaders who I couldn't be more proud of today, because, I just got to interact with them. They got to be themselves. That was the part that I played, was I just allowed them to be themselves. And they're the real reasons that they're successful and talented. I just got to be a part of that.
Wow. And that message is really powerful in this environment where the volatility, uncertainty, shrouded with, the artificial intelligence and all that's happening at the moment. And I think from what you're saying, companies will benefit from the services that you offer. Teams would benefit from the benefits of what you do, and individuals would also benefit from what you're talking about. And I'd really would like the audience to hear again where they can reach out to you, because I think you are a change maker and organizations need to be getting you as a consultant to support employees. Would you kindly just again share where people would be able to reach you?
Thank you. And yes, I'm doing some really fun team training now, or I'm building bridges between departments, because sometimes that's that volatility and the mistrust that has been built over the years. So I'm doing some fun stuff with that, with individual coaching for the leaders and even the team. And so, everybody can reach me on my website at BUleadership.com, and that's BEYOU, leadership.com.
Yes.
So you can book an appointment with me, get on my calendar from there. I have some great opportunities throughout the rest of this year to do some special packages for people, and or they can email me directly and ask a question, or get on a Zoom, Traycee at BUleadership.com.
Fantastic. Oh, Traycee, I will just repeat again your website. You said BUleadership.com. BUleadership.com. It's very easy. And Traycee is spelled, I'll just spell it for you. That's TRAYCEE. That's TRAYCEE. Traycee Mayer, Mayer. So do not hesitate to reach out to speak to Traycee for a consultation call, and your life will be transformed forever. And I just want to say a massive thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me on this podcast, Mindset of Excellence, because you are one of those people who are changing people's mindsets to transform this world, for it to be a good place, a place of love. As you heard, organizations, families, wherever we are, we need love. And Traycee is really just passing that message of transformation. And it's an honor to have had this opportunity to speak with you. And I do hope we will meet again at some point to catch up and carry on this conversation we had today. Many thanks, and God bless you.
Thank you, Lady Doris.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Lady D offers one-on-one and group coaching with 10 master keys. These systems and structures will realign you with what you were born to do. Lady D delivers hands-on coaching, training, and mentoring with boldness, empathy, diplomacy, respect, wisdom, and inclusion in a safe environment, breeding true community spirit. Sharpen your strengths, talents, and gifts to avoid pitfalls. Get networked with confidence to excel. Begin your journey today by going to careerleadershipcoachingtoday.com or dorischoto.com.